Hello guys and welcome to another video. My name's Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and property investor, and today it's going to be a little bit of a different video because what I want to do is talk about something serious that's been going on in my life. I've recently had a bit of a health scare and I want to bring that information to you. Now before we get into the video, if you could possibly give this video a big like, it really does help me out with the algorithm and it helps spread this sort of message. As you know, on this channel we talk about wealth creation, but today we're really going to be talking about how wealth has helped me in my quest for improving my health. And when I found out this health scare, that I was able to use the money that I have in order to expedite my treatment. So I've been able to get my diagnosis super quick because of the ability to be able to go private and pay for things to be done very, very quickly. The last thing I want to mention on this before we get into the video is the subscriber dividend portfolio. You know, we give away the dividends from that every single month. At the moment, we've got about £3,500 in that, and we're going to be putting an extra £1,000 in every single month and giving away the dividends from that to a lucky subscriber every single month. But let's get into the video and let's talk about what's been going on with my health and why this has all come about. So about a week or 2 weeks ago, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast and he was talking about how he had got onto TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy. And the reason he had started looking into that is he just felt a little bit less himself from when he was like in his 20s to when he was in his 40s. And I could kind of relate to that. And I kind of thought to myself, it's probably worth getting myself checked out. So I went to a company and they ran a set of blood tests for me. First of all, a very basic set to find out whether my testosterone was low. And the results came back and it confirmed my suspicions that I did have low testosterone. Now, the only way I can describe it is that I felt a little bit less of myself than when I was in my 20s. I know that's incredibly difficult to sort of describe, but when somebody said, when I was listening to Joe and he was sort of saying what I'm saying to you now, it just resonated with me. So if that resonates with you, it might be worth you getting yourself tested for low testosterone. So my plan was to find out if I've got low testosterone. If I have, to try and do everything I can sort of physically myself before I took any therapy. So change my diet, make sure my exercise was good, all that sort of stuff before I took on any TRT. Because when you start doing TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, even though you can combine it with CGT and other things to make sure that you do still produce it naturally yourself, it does have downsides that you're going to have to do this for the rest of your life. And generally there's a cost to it and you know, it's a lot to be doing, injecting yourself 3 days a week. So it's not something I really wanted to do straight away. I just wanted to get a good idea of where I was. So the first test came back saying that I had low testosterone and I had to do a second, more complete intravenous, so taking directly from a vein. So the first one was fingerprint, the second one was from a vein. A more in-depth blood test. Now that one came back with some other worrying signs of high ferritin, which is essentially high iron within the liver, high ALT, which is liver function, and high GGT, which is liver function again. Now, obviously that came through and the doctor who did the blood test sort of said to me, I want you to go and get a GP to investigate why you've got these high markers, because that is abnormal for someone of your age and of your weight and all the rest, right? I'm not massively overweight. I'd be classed as maybe slightly overweight, but I'm not massively overweight. But when I sort of started talking about my diet, she said, you really want to look at that as well. So, of course, this happened today, just so you know, is Wednesday the 23rd. You're going to see this video on Wednesday the 24th. So we're going to do a fast production so that you can get this information as quickly as possible. And if any of this resonates with you, hopefully you can find out for yourself if there's anything going on internally yourself. So this is where the sort of the wealth thing comes in a little bit, because I was in the fortunate position where I have private health insurance. I was able to see a doctor the very next day at a time of my choosing through a Bupa clinic in Reading at 12:15. So I was very, very fortunate that I was able to get exactly what I needed that very next day. And the doctor gave me a good sort of thorough exam. He also took my blood pressure, which was slightly high, and he asked me to redo that at home, which I've done, and I'm going to put a picture of it up there for you. So you can see it's still slightly high. It's not massively high, but I do have high blood pressure, and I also have slightly high cholesterol. So we need to start controlling that a little bit. And it started to all come through as a bit of a picture. High cholesterol, you know, liver function being under attack a little bit. And he sort of suggested that the markers would sort of suggest that I have fatty liver disease, or the onset of fatty liver disease. And this is a sort of thing that can be very, very serious if you don't sort it out. out. And I'm very fortunate that some of my markers, for example, the GGT is 86. And he was saying to me that a high severe level would be about 700. So I'm in mild high is what he described it to me as, mild high. That doesn't mean that I'm going to take it any less seriously, right? I'm going to take it incredibly seriously and go, okay, well, my health is very, very important to me. Now, I have talked on this channel before about health and wealth, and I think, first of all, if I didn't have disposable income, I wouldn't have gone and got these tests done in the first place, because it was quite expensive. You know, I've probably spent, so far, about £500 on tests, which I appreciate is quite a lot of money. But we do go and get our car MOT'd every year, you know, and I started thinking about this quite holistically and going, well, I should probably be tested more regularly for all these markers and just make sure that my bloods are coming back and picking up any issues quickly. Now, my GP has put me through to a specialist, so I have a hospital appointment later on today that I have to go to, where I'm going to be meeting a consultant, and then hopefully either later on this week or next week, I'll be getting a scan of my liver. But my GP does suggest that most of this could probably be resolved with a change in diet once I described my diet. And I'm going to tell you honestly my diet, and it's a bit embarrassing to say, but I'm gonna be very open and honest with you guys. So please don't judge me too heavily on this. You know, I ate a reasonable amount of chocolate. I probably had 1 to 2 chocolate bars a day. I'd have 3 Coke Zeros, although he said that wasn't massively bad, because the things that are bad for the liver and produce fatty liver disease are high sugars. So my Coke Zeros have no sugars, although they're not healthy by any stretch of the imagination. So the chocolate was definitely bad. High saturated fats, so things like KFC's, fried chicken, all the sort of things that you just pick up when you're on the go, right? When you're in a rush. I'll be honest, you know, I was a glutton for crisps and things, and all of this stuff has fats in it and bad sugars and salts that just raise cholesterol. So since I found all this out, and I appreciate it's only been a couple of days, my diet I've changed completely. I now take omega-3 3 times a day. I've got my vitamins and made sure my vitamin regime's really good. I've got a friend who's a nutritionist, and before I have any meal, I'm just texting him some ideas to just sort of get any judgments on that. For example, I didn't know that chicken was high in omega-6, and omega-6 does increase cholesterol. So I didn't realise that beforehand. So we're just sort of moderating and changing my diet slightly, even at a clean stage, so that I can make sure that I do have all the nutrients I need, all the proteins I need, at the same time reducing those sort of omega-6s and the sort of things that have caused me to get high cholesterol and fatty liver. I guess what I'm saying to you today is I didn't know how bad it was for me, and that's slightly embarrassing since it's over every single packet. I quit smoking on one day when I was 25, I think I was, and I haven't smoked since. I quit alcohol a few years later, and I haven't drunk since. And today I'm really quitting sugar to the point where I won't be eating like sweets or chocolate or things like that in its traditional sense. Now, I will still have a bit of dark chocolate because there's some quite positive antioxidant effects of dark chocolate, so I've decided that I'm going to keep a bit of that in my diet. But with very moderation. I'm not going to eat much processed foods, crisps, things like that. That's out for my diet. And hopefully, with these lifestyle changes, I can bring a lot of these markers back into kilter. So guys, I was about to leave the studio. I've just got to put this bit on camera, and I've got to tell you this part of the story. So I had to get my intravenous blood test done, right? And I needed to be in Banbury. Now, I was helping out with my taxi company, doing a taxi run in the morning, taking someone into Croydon for a meeting, and I knew that I'd get there for about 9 back to Banbury for 12:15. It was going to be absolutely easy, no sweat, I'd make it. I got stuck by those Just Oil people, and I was sat there with my passenger, and I was just talking to her, and I said, oh, it's a real shame, you know, I wanted to get my blood test done, I'm going to miss my blood test. And she said, oh, it's a shame it's not a private one and you didn't have your kit with you, because I'm a clinical lead. I was like, you never guess what? And I pulled out the kit, and I swear not to you, we pulled over in a lay-by on the way to a journey, and my passenger agreed to give my blood test. So she took my bloods. So Betty, if you're watching this, because I know you subscribe to this channel, thank you so much for taking those bloods. It did highlight some issues that I had, and we took it on a lay-by just off the M25, and she did it all for me. She was really, really great. So thank you so much, Betty. I'm going to let you get back to the original story, but I wanted to put this bit into the story. But guys, what I wanted to really do on this video is just be honest with you, share my diagnosis, share the fact that, this fatty liver disease, it is real, it can be quite serious, and it's very easy to get. He was telling me that he thinks that something like 5% of the population may well have fatty liver disease and not know it. And I wouldn't have known it if I hadn't got my blood test done. There's just no way. My cholesterol, as I said, is high. It's not severe high, but it's high. So I'm going to make sure that I bring that down as well. And hopefully my testosterone may naturally rise, along with all the exercise and additional things I'm going to be doing, so that I get to a point where I don't need TRT. But if I do, I'm also going to be really honest with you guys, and I'm going to share with you the health benefits, my experience, all that sort of stuff. I want to make sure on this channel that I'm just as honest as I possibly can be, and share parts of my life that I might not otherwise have originally planned to do. Originally, the plan was just to talk about money making and investing and all that sort of stuff, and that's still very dear to me, and I think that has enabled me to have the confidence to just go out and spend a bit of money in order to give myself an MOT. So hopefully, guys, this honesty spurs you guys on, and I wanted, as a man, to share this with you, because I think, and I know it's pretty, I don't know whether it's self-deprivating or whatever, but I know a lot of men struggle to share this sort of stuff. So today, as a man, I'm sharing the fact that I've abused my body a little bit too much. I've had too much sugar. I haven't lived a particularly healthy lifestyle. And today, the markers in my blood would suggest that I've got the onset of serious complications. I'm going to correct it. Hopefully, that's all it is. And if that is all it is, I am confident that I will correct it, because I am capable of giving up things like sugar very quickly. I did it with smoking, I did it with drinking. I'm sure I can do it with sugar. We'll be back with some more content on Saturday that's more about money making, but in the next couple of weeks I will post an update for you so I can be completely honest and tell you exactly what the outcome of my scan was, exactly what my blood tests have come back with, because hopefully those levels will start dropping quite quickly with these lifestyle changes, and I'll report everything back to you really, really honestly. So guys, give this video a big like if you appreciate this sort of honesty. Subscribe if you haven't, it really does help me out. And guys, I will report back. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.